Periscope tweet out. There it is. Woo! Here we are, everybody. Live before lock, Saturday edition, and I'm sneaking onto the show. Unbeknownst to me earlier today, at least, I fumbled the ball big time, but I couldn't be happier to be joined by your old pal, my old pal, Emac. What's going on? How's your Saturday?
It's pretty good. Shout out to my wife. She's out in California. Just did the half marathon there. She's on her quest to finish 50 half marathons in 50 states plus the District of Columbia before next calendar year ends. And she, a couple years ago, she did a full marathon in California, the San Diego Marathon. So now she said, you know what, I still need to do a half because it's called 50 half marathons in 50 states. So she set probably a 10-year best today. So very, very proud of her. And it's me and the dog. And the dog likes to wake up at 5:30 because that's when my wife gets up.
Okay.
So it's cold. The dog let me sleep in until 6. But the dog likes to march on me. Now, she's 15 pounds, so it's not that big of a deal, but 15 pounds of fury when you're not getting her food. So she can be very persistent and bullheaded, but there we are. She's now behind me, sleeping on her blanket that she's refluffed like 5 times in the last hour. So.
My dog, I haven't seen in a couple hours because they were just chilling. We took them for a nice walk. It was the first time we took the pug out for a walk since his gallbladder removal. Exciting stuff. So he got himself a little exercise today. But that's not what anybody wants to hear. What they want to hear is Super Draft. They are the presenting sponsor of this show. I'm really intrigued by Super Draft. I really like the method behind their madness. They have a multiplier system, so you can pick any player that you want, which is a very refreshing feeling to building a DFS lineup where you don't have to just scrape the bottom of the barrel. You can get anybody. You can have unlimited combinations of lineups because of that. They have pretty sizable overlays every week, so check them out for the NFL. They're planning on offering overlays for the NBA season as well. Check that out. If you make a deposit of $100, you can get an instant $20 deposit bonus. Just go to superdraft.io, use the promo code AWESOMO. And, honestly, hit the like button. It would be helping us out tremendously. Subscribe to the channel, but the likes are the key. I want to see that thumbs up number go to the sky. Let's go 500. Can we get 500? We've got free ownership projections today, guys. Highly recommend you check them out. They are one of the key pieces of everything that I do. So if it wasn't for our ownership projections, I think that I would be much worse at this. I highly recommend you check them out. Head to awesemo.com, head to the NBA section, check out the main slate ownership. But Emac, we've got 4 games to talk about. Some of them look good. Some of them look less than good. Since we don't have a deeper dive as a lead-in, do you want to just tackle this game by game? We got some time.
Sure. That no problem there. And for those of you who were a little sad that we're taking time away from breaking down your 4 games, we're just letting people collect, get into the room, and we have plenty of time. Hell, Adam and I had to stretch to make this show go an hour this morning, and Adam was not pleased, but I said, we got to go an hour. And we did. But you know what? The slate has changed entirely. No more Kristaps Porzingis. He is out for load management. We have Lonzo Ball, who is out with an adductor strain. So that changes the shape of things for the Pellies, though they, as Josh and I were talking pre-show, they do go quite deep. But we will see what happens there. And then let's see, there was one other one I think I'm missing. Let's see, Brandon Clark out for rest. Memphis kind of punting. Oh, Otto Porter, which of course, now the Chicago value, completely forgotten Chandler Hutchison and Kobe White.
Yes.
And potentially Thaddeus Young, if you want to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. But we have plenty to talk about in an hour. And we're good.
We really do. Yeah, for all the people that are having their panic attacks and heart attacks for Eddie not being here, Eddie is out for load management.
Yes.
Now,
some would call it family time as well. You get him 5 days a week now. We boosted him an extra day over what the initial plan was. So everybody should be happy with that. But come on, you'll get him tomorrow.
Honestly, it's truly my fault. He needed this day off. 2 weeks ago, I was like, yeah, that works perfectly. I can perfectly handle that. And then I forgot. So you get me. And that's why everybody else thought Eddie was still here. But we need to talk it through. Let's start in this Hornets and Pelicans game. First game, the only 7 o'clock game before 3 more coming up at 8 p.m. Both defenses have been less than stellar so far this season. This is a pretty big pace-up spot for the Hornets, which is great because there's not really anything good for the Hornets, generally speaking. We've got Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, Devontae Graham. That's who stands out to me. Talk to me a little bit about these Hornets.
We just got an ownership projection 2 minutes ago.
Fantastic. Let me grab that.
And let's talk a little bit about the team in Queen City. Yes, that is what Charlotte has dubbed itself because they are named after Queen Charlotte. There you go. I never knew that till for a hot minute I worked for Time Warner Cable.
There you go.
Most of the headquarters were down there, so I went down there quite a few times. And then they were getting bought out, which is just my luck. For anybody that was wondering, I have been laid off or told I was going to be laid off / bought out of every company I've worked for since 2000.
Damn.
That's pretty impressive track record. So we shall see. And I'm in compensation. So by the way, I've prepared my own package more than once for layoffs. But looking here at Charlotte, it's going to be kind of interesting here without Lonzo Ball. So they're losing one of their better defenders here. The Pelicans are. So that helps out Rozier, Scary Terry, as that nickname seems to be picking up steam these days. So Rozier is someone that I like a little bit more than I did this morning. Okay. So that is something I was not expecting to say on this show. And then the other guy that I like from this team is I'm getting my filters there. Yeah. The other guy I like from the team is Miles Bridges. Another guy I didn't think I'd talk about, but you know what? Yeah. Small forward, a little bit thin today. So when I say like, it's an 8-team player pool. There are 4 games. By the way, there's a 3-game slate with all 3 games going off at 8 o'clock. Josh, it's like the Premier League or something here. But we've got.
I wish it was. Yeah. Liverpool plays tomorrow, and I miss it too. That's the worst.
Oh no. But Bridges pops up on my radar, as does Devontae Graham. That's really it. I'm a little nervous about Cody Zeller. I think he can be in the mix with guys like Steven Adams. Clint Capella is probably everybody's favorite play unless somebody else has multi-position eligibility. Yeah. But Zeller, a little disappointing. I did a bunch of drafts this afternoon over there on draft.com, and I was just taking whatever I got. More often than not, I was choosing between Steven Adams, Wendell Carter Jr., and Cody Zeller with my last pick because I just said, I'd rather get guards and forwards than I would get Clint Capella just based on the projections. It's called, points over replacement, value-based drafting.
Yeah.
As popularized, not invented, but popularized by Joe Bryant and the football guys. But those are the guys I want. And then you can kind of squeeze in PJ Washington. Surprisingly, I'm not that interested in guards outside of Graham and Rozier. So Dwayne Bacon, not going to make it better today. Mm-mm. And then Malik Monk getting a bit of a boost just from lack of guys that are technically ball handlers. But if you're a ball handler and a black hole at the same time, does it really help your teammates if you're out as the point guard?
I don't think so. Just a guess, though. I wanted Malik Monk to be so good coming into, last season to whatever, his rookie year. Not quite. I thought that he was just going to get at least mildly unleashed this season. That also doesn't appear to be the case. So I don't know what to do with Malik Monk, man. I don't like it. Yeah, to me, Charlotte's 3 guys, Rozier, Bridges, and Graham. PJ Washington is getting some traction, ownership across FanDuel and DK. 6,500 on FanDuel, 6K on DK. He's been really good. I was looking at some, I think like the first run of BPM got posted and another like box score based metric. And PJ Washington near the top. So kudos to Charlotte for that. I wasn't hugely fond of the pick, but seems to be working out after the first 3 weeks. The Pelican side is a little crazier, though.
one thing before we get into
Yeah,
that.
hit it.
Now, chat, relax. Yes. So your volume's a little loud. We're on a different platform. Josh and I haven't done a show in a long time. So usually I'm hosting and producing. So this is, they said your volume's a little loud and mine is less than what yours is.
Yeah, I jacked my I turned my volume down. For some reason, my volume setting in Zoom has been moving like on its own.
There's like a super secret, and I can only find it half the time I look for it, but there's a super secret setting that adjusts based upon what it thinks it should be to balance to the other person.
Yeah, I unchecked that button so that it would never move, but now it moves more than it ever did before. So let me know. It's really crazy because it doesn't bounce in my mixer. Apparently, it only just bounces to everybody. Yeah, like I'm not redlining my mixer at all, and I wasn't before that. So who knows? But apologies. I think that I got it straightened out. If I'm too loud, if I'm still too loud, sounds great now. Volume's fine. Good to know, guys. Thank you.
See, we love our chat. I'm following along here. Following along. Shout out to the premium chat that's saying props to my wife. Yeah, she's pretty amazing with that running thing there. But in any event, Josh, we left off with the Pellies.
This is a ridiculous team. They played 13 guys in their last game. We know that that's going to look a little different here, or at least it should. We just got news that Kenrich Williams is starting. I don't even know how to handle that. We found out that Melly was starting quite late yesterday as well. Oh, man. What do we do with the Pelicans? Is it as simple as just play Brandon Ingram and try not to worry about the rest of these guys? Is Kenrich Williams now in play? 3,600 on FanDuel, 3,200 on DK. It seems like he is.
So there's your Chandler Hutchison pivot on DK. Both of them have just as good of a chance to be above 20 fantasy points, but not quite 25 or in the teens. And we know that we'll get to Hutchison, of course, but we can only really project him for 20 to 25 minutes, maybe at the most.
Right.
With Kenrich Williams, well, Alvin Gentry sort of has that beautiful mind thing going on, or is that the Hangover where all the numbers are playing in front of their yeah. So it's a bit of a mess there. Now, trust, not really.
No.
But pivot away from anybody that set their lineups early and is going for that Chandler Hutchison chalk. This is a reasonable pivot away. I feel a little bit better about Hutchison. They're down a few more bodies, and I know they want to get a look at him.
Right.
Josh, you were mentioning pre-show that the Pellies have been running 12, 13 deep.
Yeah.
It's like what you have. How many guys active? There's 15, I think.
It really makes it difficult to try to project from a DFS perspective when the entire active roster is in the game. Yeah, Redick is starting too. That really doesn't matter all that much to me. No. I don't get the sense that they're going to play him 36 minutes somehow now. Unless
you get 5 for 3-pointers, Redick doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, not for this spot, not on this team. I guess Drew Holiday is also in play. He's around 20% ownership on both sites, 8,300 on FanDuel, 7,700 on DraftKings. You would think with Lonzo out, he sees a little bit more of a ball handling role. We should see a bump in his assist rate. I'm pretty equal to Holiday and Ingram relative to salary. I don't have much that separates the two. So I just kind of naturally prefer Drew Holiday given the ownership between them. We have Jahlil Okafor picking up a little bit of love on DK. Favors picking up a little love on FanDuel. I'm not entirely sure why anybody would want that for 5,200. What else stands out to you from the Pellies?
Favors is very dangerous. Adam and I talked about this. Now, Adam is probably the analyst I respect the most in DFS because I do the majority of my shows with them. He has the nuances for baseball, which are tough to do, and basketball. He does the minutes projections like nobody else. He digs through every box score, every game flow box score, and he knows what's happening as long as he's okay with occasionally using odd minutes instead of just even minutes.
We had that discussion for a while last year.
Yeah, he's back to the even minutes. I haven't said anything yet. I don't even know that he knows he's doing it, but he's back there. But in any event, he and I talked about it. So here's Adam's opinion if you missed out on the DFS strategy show, and we didn't hit it. We hit a little bit on it on the early bird. He's still okay with Favors.
Okay.
He says if he breaks through with 20 to 25 minutes, he's going to be an excellent play. I don't buy into. I agree with that. I just don't think that is going to happen. So if I get beat by Derek Favors, so be it. Does Derek Favors actually have 40 fantasy point upside? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. But wait for it. Who's his comparison? Rodney Hood. Yeah. Shout out to Rodney Hood. Former teammates, by the way, now on different teams. But he's one of those guys that just disappears. Absolutely fine player. I think he's been in the league, 12 years now? It's been a long time since he's been in there. I remember he was with New Jersey, the Nets.
He was.
Before they were Brooklyn, got traded. That was all part of the Darren
Darren Williams trade.
Darren Williams, thank you. That whole move and trade. So he's been around forever. If his name wasn't Derek Favors, you guys would be like, well, he's Kendrick Williams at best,
right?
Unfortunately, with the way the minutes are working now. He's got a myriad of injuries. Remember, he was day-to-day. This was 3 seasons ago, day-to-day for 6 weeks. He slept poorly on his bed, but they kept him as day-to-day because he had now, to be fair, he had a compressed nerve, or he had something amiss.
Somebody put a pea under his mattress.
Yeah, the princess and the pea. That's an excellent comp there. But I cannot get there. But I do want to say that a good basketball mind like Adam has said, hey, sometimes you got to get there first.
Yeah.
Before the masses. And this,
for sure,
this is a perfect example in Derek Favors. And Adam's not afraid to go big or go home. So I just wanted to give alternating perspectives there. I'll have him at 5%. I don't expect he's not going to be a part of my night. And again, if I lose, I'm fine with that.
Okay, that'll work. I'm still making my changes to New Orleans right now. I think I'm pretty well settled. Yeah, I think the guys that are standing out most to me, Frank Jackson, a little bit of Ja in particular, 3,500. Yeah, so they both look really good on DK. Okafor, I have in for 20 minutes at 3,500. Frank Jackson, I've got in for 26 minutes now, $3,400. Those are the guys that I have my eye on. I think they're better values. I think they might be the best dollar for dollar values on the Pellies. So it looks like I'm going to have about 4 guys there, 3 guys from Charlotte. Do we have anything else that we want to touch on from this game?
Other than to mention that, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, and judging by his popularity, you have not. Brandon Ingram, 10th in the league in scoring, tied with LeBron, 26 points a game. Wow. We know he can handle the ball. We saw that in the Laker days. I'm good with him. He's not going to be the primary ball handler as long as they have Jackson and of course, Drew Holiday and other guys. But it's nice to know that he's probably going to see one of his season highs in touches tonight on the way the offense is going to work between it. I'm suspecting a 2-man game mostly between him and Drew.
He will be able to do whatever he wants, basically. His I will say this, his point prop out on the internets is much higher than what it was just for my baseline. So something to keep in mind.
What are they? Are they above his season average?
It was like, I want to say it was 26, 25, something like that.
Okay. Yep, that's right there. Right there with it. I was laughing because I put in Ingram as my top contrarian play on our syllabus. Now, the reason I went that way is I didn't want to go with Kobe White because one of our other brilliant basketball minds had written him up. But I wrote up Ingram, and I said, while he's not completely contrarian, this is an 18-player pool. I'm enamored with Brandon Ingram in his only back-to-back this season. Remember, I had that thoracic outlet whatever issue that they had to shut him down for last year, taking care of that. So he's all good. In his last back-to-back, I want to say it was like on the 30th and the 1st, or it was like at least 10 days ago. He played 31 and a half on the first game. He played 38 and a half on the second game. Okay. So I'm not worried about minute limits whatsoever. He has posted at least 22 NBA points in every game except for one. And as I mentioned, he's 10th in the league with scoring at 26. So I like him a lot. He's kind of in that sweet spot of pricing. If you're going to go stars and scrubs, I don't know that you're going to get there. He's also probably the best small forward option where you can get him at small forward, which in turn could keep his popularity up there somewhat.
Okay. Conflicting information coming out right now, whether or not Derek Favors or Jahlil Okafor is starting. So once that gets confirmed, we can circle back to it. But right now it seems to be up in the air. Why does everybody keep saying, guess Josh doesn't know Ja is out? Yeah, I'm very aware that Ja is out. We have not talked about Memphis yet. Did I say something about, is there any reason we would have been talking about Ja Morant at all?
No, because Tyus Jones is going to be
Yeah.
the punt du jour today,
He
so
is my-
he's going to get his due and proper.
Yeah, Tyus Jones is my top play on DraftKings by like double.
Yeah, it's one of those. Well, shall we
I,
go to
I
that
must
game
have
now?
I must have subconscious like I must have said something about. Oh yeah, shout out to
Unless
Corey
you meant
Kim.
Ja by Okafor.
I
as you
did.
call him.
Corey Kim
Oh.
says he means Okafor. You noobs.
Ah, yes.
Corey Kim. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I think he might need to slip into your DMs and get himself a week of premium there if he is not already an Awesemo member for backing you up in chat.
Good deal. Okay, I was just like, oh, why would I have even been talking about Ja Morant? You guys are right. Like, no idea what's going on today, but you didn't know that
To
yet.
be fair, you're one of the few people that calls him Ja.
Well,
that I hear.
I was still watching Duke basketball when he was in college, so I feel like he and I go back a little bit. So that's just like what I call him. I don't know.
Gotcha.
That's just me. Let's talk Bulls. Let's talk Rockets. Bulls 113.75 implied total. Rockets 120.25. So Rockets obviously big favorites. I don't know where the Chicago strip clubs ranked for James Harden, so I'm just going to assume that this is a neutral opportunity. Houston's defense has been not all that fantastic, particularly with Russell Westbrook on the floor, but we will start on the Chicago side where 6 different guys on FanDuel are in double digits in exposure. Those same 6 are also in double digits on DraftKings. As far as I'm concerned, Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen look the best. I could probably do without most of these other guys. I'm certainly not excited for the Thad Youngs, Kobe Whites, and Chandler Hutchisons of the world. But Emac, what say you? What stands out to you from Chicago?
All right. So one, Kobe White has amazing hair. I'm incredibly jealous. If you type in Kobe White on Twitter, you'll get a highlight. I think it was about 4 or 5 days ago of him jumping the passing lane, dribbling down and dunking on the other side. The magnificent coif bouncing like two lovers running towards each other in a meadow of flowers. It was amazing. So I like him. Why do I like him? I think he's going to pick up about another 3 minutes. So I think he's going to come close to 30 minutes in this one. He's kind of been essentially the direct backup for Otto Porter, who's out tonight, with the exception of and by backup, I mean, he's not playing power forward, but he's the guy that literally comes in and out every time Porter does, with the exception of about 3.5 minutes that they cross over in the fourth quarter. So that's what we've seen in the last 3 games when Porter was healthy. The other guy that's going to come in is Chandler Hutchison. He's going to be the starter, but remember, he's only played in 2 games so far this year. He's been out with he had a grade 3 hamstring injury, and that kept him out through the end of training camp in the first part of preseason. It's funny. There was notes saying that he was down in the G League. Now, he never played because the G League didn't actually start until I believe it was November 1st. But he might have been down there practicing, or he wasn't on the active roster. So I'm not entirely sure how the G League works. Similar to minor league baseball, I'm assuming now, yes. But they're always changing those rules. But he was down there, so he was practicing a little bit. So I don't expect to see him more than 23 to 25 minutes. I really don't see it being more than that. So he was sort of our punt du jour before we got Tyus Jones, before we got Kendrick Williams in the mix, etc. But for me, I still think that Kobe White's going to be the forgotten man, and I'm okay with Hutchison because it's a pace-up game, and it's I don't know that pace-up is the right word. It's going to be a faster-paced game from both sides. I don't see a lot of defense in this one. The guy I'm not a fan of, Thaddeus Young, he made it in as my risky value. I no longer call it good chalk and bad chalk because people just read the names and don't read the analysis. So he's risky value. His price is fair, particularly on DraftKings. He's $4,200. He's $5,000 on FanDuel. Why is he so much higher on FanDuel? Well, you get 3 points for blocks and assists, and when he or blocks and steals, and when he goes nuts, that's what he gets. He gets about 6 of them. Combined. So is that going to happen? I don't know. He's only top 25 fantasy points twice. He's not exceeded 31 yet this year. Speaking of 31, that's how old he is. He's on his 13th season. I'm not I would rather risk Derek Favors by a hair over Thaddeus Young. By a hair.
I can see that. I don't have much of
So
an
I'm
issue
going to
there.
have both less than 10%.
Well, what do you think? If Favors is starting, I assume that changes your mind a bit, right?
Then I would be Favors, but I'm not rushing to put him in. Then I'm okay if I might bump him to 10% for my cap, but it's not going higher than that for either of these guys.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to do with these Bulls guys. They don't grade out well for me at all. Hutchison in particular. Kind of scares me, but I'm just not enamored with him. Ben McBrizzle, $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Say hi to my friend Emma. Let me scroll back up. I lost it. Say hi to my friend Emma. She says EMAC is cute.
Emma, happily married, little ring there, but it's okay. We can dare to dream. We may not meet in person, but if we ever do, I will give you a hug.
There you go. There you go. Let's talk Houston. This should be a real deep conversation. Although apparently it should be, because 6 guys from Houston projected for north of 10. Ooh, Gordon Hayward broke his hand.
Wait, what? Oh, tonight.
Yeah.
I had a lot of him in draft because I was going with the grab the forwards.
Better than his leg, I guess. But not great. He's been playing well.
Did you see Kyle Lowry?
Thumb, right?
Thumb and Ibaka. Indefinite return.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
So for those of you ready to fire up the Fred Van Elite Fan Club, some more of you are going to be playing him with me.
You probably want to start firing up the Norm Powell fan club. He's going to need some minutes shortly. Harden, Westbrook. I prefer Westbrook on DraftKings by quite a bit. $1,800 cheaper. No, that's not even true. $2,800 cheaper. Jesus. Similar ownership, too. On FanDuel, I think it's a little closer. I would actually prefer Harden, 11-7. Not problematic at all for me. Do you have a preference between the two?
Oops, sorry, I was muting.
You're
there.
good. You're good.
No, my dog decided it'd be fun. She likes to come under the desk here and decide if I've dropped crumbs.
Gotcha.
Because, sometimes people have bad habits and they eat at their desk because they never seem to leave because they're chained to it. That would be me. She loves it. But in any event, I was trying to get her out of there. Okay, so here's my full question here, and it comes down to DK, and I was hoping to get a counterbalance. $2,800 difference there.
Yeah.
Between Russell Westbrook and James Harden. I currently have James Harden in my main team, which is the one I put in my 3-mans and my head-to-heads that I play. And I pick up names that I don't recognize, or especially in the 3-mans. As long as I don't recognize one name on DK there, I'll jump in those at the low dollar stuff. So that's my quote cash game.
Okay.
I have Harden. I'm not thrilled with the rest of my lineup. I've got Harden, I've got Luka, I've got Ingram, I've got White, Hutchison, Tyus Jones, and then cannon fodder at that point.
Okay.
Is it worth going down to Westbrook for that $2,800 savings that I could turn into a more likely 40-point scorer but lose access to the 70 that Harden has, get the 50 to 55 that Westbrook probably has? The math doesn't quite work out for me, but I need some other inputs because I have a predisposition to put Harden in over Westbrook on all slates.
Yeah, so. I'm expecting to get more Harden on FanDuel when I run this. I'm expecting to get relatively neutral amounts on FantasyDraft. DK, I think, is just way too easy to get to Russ, and then I'm really surprised that he's not getting even more ownership. And then on Yahoo, the $56 tag on Harden, while obviously a huge piece of your entire $200 budget, I don't think that's like a crazy price for him at all. I prefer him to Westbrook, oddly enough, there. Ultimately, I just want to have both of these guys. They should be fantastic. But I'm not telling anybody anything they don't already know. Spoiler alert, Russell Westbrook and James Harden are really good fantasy options.
And you know what? This is not a gimme. No. So that was the other thing I pointed out in the cash game building block. So what I like to do in that is give just, this is a free article, but I try to do a little edumacation, if you will. So we do a DFS primetime player or top pick. So that's usually who I think is the best player that you really want to anchor your main lineup with. So people call it cash, but I just like to call it my main lineup.
Sure.
So today it's James Harden. Whoop-de-woo, no surprise there. But I do point out that while he is essentially by most projection systems had about double digits on pretty much everybody else, there is no reason that Westbrook, Doncic, I'm assuming D'Angelo Russell is playing, right? So
far.
Yeah, so far. I'm a little nervous about that. But there's other guys that could get there at the point guard position, etc. So I really like Harden. One of the things I pointed out is the Rockets are 6.5 point favorites. However, they have lost their focus too many times this season. Yes, they're on a 2 or 3 game winning streak, but we saw them blow a massive lead on their opening night to the Bucks. They took the Wizards. Really, 158 points in regulation you allowed to the Wizards. If you don't have your head up your whatever, it's the Wizards. Good God.
Yeah.
They made them look like the Harlem Globetrotters playing who do the Globetrotters play? I forget.
Generals?
Yes, the Washington Generals. See, I was getting confused. Washington.
Shouldn't this
Wizards.
be something that you know better than me?
I have actually been to several Harlem Globetrotters games when I was a youngster.
I've been to one that I can remember. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. That was a fun memory. But in any event here, I'm back to this building block thing. I'm saying they could lose focus. I don't see a blowout occurring here in Chicago. Per se. I think the Chicago guys are going to try hard. They're at home. This is a good one, trying hard, etc. But these are, Lauri Markkanen's been yanked around with his minutes. Why he's not playing more, I don't know. But they do have the players to hang with Houston, particularly if Houston has a lapse in attention.
For sure.
And from that standpoint, long story short, I'm not afraid to spend on the top guys in this game.
Okay. Yeah,
a long
we're
way
on the
of
same page
answering
there.
your question, nibbling at it in from various directions, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of the way that it has to happen. Eric Gordon not starting, evidently, coming off the bench. Pelicans starting lineup. Holiday, Redick, Ingram, Williams, Favors.
Okay, so it is Favors. All right.
Talk to me about Derek Favors now, I guess. I mean, he's got to be at least mildly in play on a 4-gamer.
I absolutely think so, and I think this is where you have to listen to Adam sitting on one shoulder saying he has 40 fantasy point upside, and everybody could be looking up at you if that happens. And then you got to listen to me on the other shoulder saying, "Oh, but I'm scared because he barely gets over 20 fantasy points a game." All right, who do you really want to listen to if you're playing tournaments? You want to listen to Adam.
Evil Emac on my other shoulder here.
What am I going to do? Well, you know what? Much like Adam tunes out me and Lofty tunes out everybody, I can tune out Adam. So there we are.
Do you have anything else you want to touch on for Houston and Chicago?
Capella was dealing with a shoulder injury that made it difficult to rebound and dunk. As Adam pointed out, that is the two things he does. His last game was pretty good. We're hoping he is better now, and it was pointed in the review mirror saying, yeah, that's why, my last 3 games weren't that great. I was dealing with that. Now it seems to be better. He is still the best center option tonight from raw points projection. But Joval, let's talk about Joval.
Let's head to Memphis and Dallas. That is the next game up on my list, so you timed it
one
perfectly.
More. Wendell Carter Jr. is still dealing with a sore thumb, but I do like him on DraftKings because you can get him at power forward. So it's a little more helpful there.
There we go.
On the other sides where he's center only.
Let's talk about Joval. Let's talk about Memphis. They are 5.5 point underdogs at home against Dallas. No Ja Morant. Yes, I'm saying Ja Morant. Now we are there. No Grayson Allen as well, just in case anybody cares about that. I assume you don't. And no Brandon Clark.
The balls with Grayson and Draymond.
Right. And no Brandon Clark as well. Let's talk about Joval. 7,100 on FanDuel, 6,200 on DK, 12K on FantasyDraft, $20 on Yahoo. He is roughly 20% owned, a little bit less than the 40% that is strapped to Tyus Jones right now. I'll just get this out of the way so we don't have to go much further. Tyus Jones is my favorite play of the slate, and it's not even close. He's going to be in everything. But talk to me about Joval. You brought him up.
Yep. So Allen
I'm
Sorry,
normally a gigantic Joval fan, so I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
here.
so I want to. This is what you get behind the paywall. So you got. So you're like, oh, I don't need to come behind the paywall for premium stuff because I get Lofty and Adam and Eddie and all of that stuff all the time. But you know what you don't get? You don't get it written down. We talk about it. There's lots of things going on, and you're going to miss out. So here's a little thing. I'm looking at what Adam had done. This is sort of similar to what my thoughts were, but here's what we want to talk about. Yes, it is a back-to-back with Jovel. Yes. What happened last year when he left Toronto and he went to Memphis? They let him play a boatload of minutes, and he kicked ass. Yeah. What happened in Toronto anytime he got more than 25 minutes? Bitch slapped everybody from a fantasy perspective. It was amazing. So Adam points out that he played 28 minutes 2 games ago, which was a season high. Last night, he only played 22 minutes. It was a blowout. It means he should be relatively fresh for tonight's game. On this season, he's only had a 23% usage rate, which is still second on the team to Ja Morant. Wait, Ja's not in this game.
No, he's not.
Without Morant on the floor, his usage percentage goes up to 27%. His salary hasn't, and I'm just going to read verbatim, his salary hasn't moved much from as the season has gone along, and he went from being priced at his ceiling to being priced for 22 minutes per game. If he gets 26 to 28 minutes, you're going to arbitrage value. You're going to find the yield. You're going to put in your finance term there. But that's what's going to happen. So I really like Jovel, and I don't think people are going there as much. You're going with Capella. You're talking yourself into Adams, Wendell Carter Jr., and missing a fourth one.
Jovel.
It's a crappy one. Because I'm not even
Capella, Jovel, Carter, Zeller, Adams, Powell.
Zeller. It was Zeller. So the risk was just throwing out Zeller. Little nervous about his minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
Went from being, hell yeah, we got to play Cody Zeller in cash. Okay, Cody Zeller kind of sucked. Hey, let's play Frank Kaminsky in cash. Okay, both of them are off the table. I don't know what's changed tonight for Zeller, but I don't want to go to Zeller. So he was the guy I've said, you know what, I'm going with Jovel. I like the back-to-back. Hopefully it keeps the masses at bay.
3 straight games for Zeller under 20 minutes played after him getting like what I was expecting to be a million games played. I can't really wrap my head around it. It doesn't make a ton of sense.
No, I thought we were onto something. People would stay away from other because it's Cody Zeller. He's a big goofy dude. Yeah, a big goofy dude that can put up 20 and 10 and hit some threes. So, yeah. Now he's turned into Kelly Olynyk, the Kelly Olynyk that doesn't get minutes.
Oh, sorry, Kelly Olynyk. Sorry.
I like Kelly. KO, baby. KO, the double KO anytime Oubre and Olynyk play each other.
I'm a mild fan, I guess. Is that nice enough?
Sure.
I'm having a lot of trouble getting enough exposure to centers on FantasyDraft right now. Let me see if that helped at all. It mildly did. Let's try that out for size. But let's circle back here to Memphis. Apparently, no one really liked, one person didn't like my heroic take of Tyus Jones. I'm just saying that he's the clear graded out. Like, if he's at 47% on FanDuel and he's at 42 on DK, I think that's too low. So I would play him significantly more aggressively than that. Wouldn't shock me if he's in everything.
Are you capping him?
No.
Is the question I want to ask. Are you happy with 80% at this point?
I wouldn't even bat an eye.
Okay.
I have no, I can get 100 of someone and I won't change it.
Sometimes that's tough to do, Josh.
A little scary.
Especially if you have to deal with that pesky salary cap. You know where you don't have to deal with that pesky salary cap?
I believe the answer is Super Draft.
Absolutely, because they have the exclusive multiplier game mode that lets you pick any player you want, offering countless lineup combinations. They also have massive overlays every week in the NFL season and will continue to do so once it's NBA only. If you have not yet signed up, you can go in, make a $100 deposit, and they will give you $20 in Super Draft cash, which is available for immediate use. It is the future of fantasy sports. It has arrived. Experience Super Draft.
There you go, everybody. Please experience Super Draft. Highly recommended. They are the presenting sponsor of this show. and you should.
I know Tom's
love him.
watching. He told me he watches all the shows, so I wanted to make that one. I wanted to hit that one.
I'm sure he will greatly appreciate that as well. I cannot lie.
Because I claimed he wasn't watching a show when I offered to give away a free subscription, and nobody won. By the way, Tom,
you giving away a car or something on here?
I told him I was giving away the store one monthly subscription at a time.
There we go. Ooh, 500 lineups done for FanDuel. Let's crunch out 500 more. I've got mild interest in Jaren Jackson on DK at 4,700. If that dude can stay on the floor, he's gonna blow that out of the water. Kyle Anderson should see some increased minutes with Brandon Clark out. He's 3,800. I don't know how well you like slow-mo, but he's been at 0.91 FanDuel points per minute so far this season. He should see some increased minutes. I think that he is a fantastic value. I actually like both Jaren Jackson and Kyle Anderson better than I like Joval on DraftKings. Kyle Anderson not getting that sort of ownership. What do you want to do with slow-mo?
So slow-mo I'm fine with. I don't mind it. For those of you that don't know why they call him slow-mo, no, he's not slow. Not like when you look at Fred VanVleet, who's a little bit slower, a little bit doughier, and a little bit shorter than everybody on the court. That's not slow-mo. When you watch him, the way he moves, it is like the weirdest thing ever. It looks like he's in slow motion compared to everybody else. Not super slow motion, but just some of what you would think natural movements are. He doesn't do them. It is bizarre, and you don't pick up on it until all of a sudden you're watching, you're like, what am I seeing here? So hence he has been nicknamed slow-mo.
Yes.
Because the other NBA players say it's a bitch to guard him on defense because he doesn't fast twitch like the normal people. Yeah. And you're not biting on his first one, but wait for it. That's the move he's going to use on you. So you're waiting for the second and it doesn't happen. And then he gets his spacing that he needs. So I'm okay with him.
Okay.
I'm okay pretty much with anybody on Memphis, but like you, I'm hoping for 85% of Jones. That's where I am actually going to cap him.
Okay.
Just in case he dies out. But the one thing I did want to point out again, when he was with Minnesota last year, filling in for Jeff Teague, when Jeff Teague was dealing with the myriad of other injuries he had, he was amazing. So amazing because he was so damn cheap. Not the Terry Rozier cheap in Boston compared to Terry Rozier now that we know he's starting all the time. But this is Tyus Jones would probably be the third guard on every NBA team for the most part.
Yeah.
And probably should be starting on 10 of them. So he's actually a really good player.
He really is. And he falls in that who would be a good example? Spencer Dinwiddie, sort of a guy that's he's overqualified for the role that he is generally playing. Now Dinwiddie's been playing more minutes for the Nets now, but he is kind of like the third banana in the backcourt for the Nets. He's a guy that I would like to see get freed. DeLon Wright was sort of that, but now he's not playing as much for Dallas, which makes no sense to me, but that's neither here nor there.
Sounds like a pivot, Josh.
Speaking of Dallas, 10-6 for Luka Doncic, 9-6 on DK, $47 only on Yahoo. That is the spot I think it is best. Shout out to Adam's new socks. He got some Luka socks today. That's a pretty good get for the treasurer of the Luka fan club. He'll never hear me say that, so it's even funnier.
Did he? Oh, I had thought he sent that to everybody, and then I saw it. He sent it just to me, but he must have individually sent it to everybody. But he does have Luka Doncic socks.
Yes.
It's a caricature of Luka Doncic on socks. So I told him, and I'm sure you did the same. I said, this is the perfect night to break those out. And he said, I can't lose now.
So what's really crazy, I mentioned I was at the outlets earlier today. I was in one of the sports stores. I saw those socks today. I looked through all of the socks and saw those specific socks. And then I came back to a picture of those socks from Adam, and it was just really, really weird. How much Luka do you want today?
So you saw those and you didn't buy them for Adam. Okay, I see what kind of a friend you are.
I did buy myself 3 new hats.
Oh, nice. Hey, you know who doesn't need hats? Me. Look behind me.
Neither do I. I have a ton of them. But
guess what my wife got me on her trip, her half marathon trip 4 weeks ago?
New hat?
I don't think you can quite see it. It looks like Superman. It's the Louisville Slugger logo. It's actually very nice.
That's awesome.
It's a dry fit hat, and I really needed another one because it's hot here in Virginia. So, but back to what you're saying, Luka Doncic, he is my cash game play.
Okay. Yeah. Pretty hard.
He's generic. You can put him in, and he's cheaper than Harden. He has triple-double upside. 3 of his last 4 games, I believe, are triple-doubles. I think he has 11 in his career, which doesn't seem like a lot, but he has flirted with them so many times. No Kristaps Porzingis, so he's definitely the guy I want. The one thing I wanted to do, and I'm going to take a breath and let you talk, is I want to read out kind of my main lineup. I won't give the whole thing out here.
Yeah, go for it.
On DK, but give me a second here. So here's my core guys. Tyus Jones, Luka Doncic. I've still got Chandler Hutchison. This is what happens when you're on a show. I'm going to ride with that one. He's super duper cheap. Do you want to go pivot away from that? We've mentioned a couple other guys. Brandon Ingram. I had him in before Lonzo Ball was out. Really like him now. Maxi Kleber, we haven't mentioned him, but he's a guy that's really going to benefit from Kristaps Porzingis being out. Now he and Dwight Powell should be getting the majority of the front court minutes there, so I think that helps him out. I'm going with Kobe White because his hair game is on point. Still with James Harden, so that's the real question there. I mentioned Doncic, and then I'm filling it all out, and I got $100 left. Jay Crowder. I don't care that it's Jay Crowder revenge coming into Dallas. He's a 3-and-D guy. Jay Crowder tonight is in a good spot. He's going to see a reasonable amount of minutes, and he literally does a little bit of everything, which is going to help him out, and that feels real familiar. So who did I write up? No, I wrote up Thaddeus Young. But, Jay Crowder.
I thought you were like Jay Crowder.
Well, no, I thought so. I'm like, wait, I've mentioned that. No, it's Thaddeus Young, where he does a little bit of everything but disappoints the hell out of you. Jay Crowder does a little bit of everything. We've seen him do this with multiple teams. He's an excellent glue guy. He's never really out of it. And this is the kind of game that suits him. Jay Crowder is not as big as we think. He's still a relatively big guy and can play power forward. No problem. Not like looking at Bradley Beal and saying, oh, good God, is Isaiah Thomas almost your size? And the answer is closer than I thought. But Jay Crowder is not – he's not a bruiser. He's a tweener, and he is somebody that he's a 3-and-D guy. So this is – the NBA is built for guys like Jay Crowder right now.
He is
the Charles Oakley of today's game, literally, invaluable.
Perfect for him. Yeah. He came around at the exact right time. Just to sum up my thoughts on the Dallas side, it's pretty much just Luka. I mean, Dwight Powell is – to me, is in a fantastic spot. 5,100 on FanDuel, 4,800 on DK, 9,500 on FantasyDraft. We know that we don't have Zinger. Powell should see 28 to 30 minutes. I feel pretty similar about Maxey. I would just rather have Powell than Maxey. Powell hasn't been good this year, but I think that's a little bit of an aberration. So I will probably end up with more Dwight Powell than Maxey, but I'm going to have both guys. That's pretty much all I'm really interested in from the Dallas
We still
side.
got one more game. We should jump over there.
Oklahoma City and Golden State.
So someone was asking me about Willie Cauley-Stein. I'm nervous about him, but I think he's going to play 25 minutes because I don't know who else is going to go against Steven Adams. So I think you're okay. It's not like he's a bad player. We looked to him a lot when he was with Sacramento. It just wasn't the right fit for what they were doing, even though now they're playing slower than ever, and he would be a good fit for them. But it's someone I don't hate, especially at 3,900. As was mentioned in the premium chat. Okay. So, but transitioning to that one, I'm a little scared about a lot of the other players in this game.
It does get a little scurry, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know how to hash out the Warriors on a day-to-day basis. No one on DraftKings other than D'Angelo Russell is in double digits in exposure. I think that's really telling. You're getting a little bit from Pascal, Glenn Robinson, and Alec Burks on FanDuel. That's mostly just because you're forced into having two guys at every position. If I'm getting anything, it's probably from the Oklahoma City side. They're 12-point favorites right now. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looks fantastic at the top end. I'm completely fine getting to Chris Paul in this spot. I'm a little less enamored than the public on Danilo Gallinari. I have him in for 30 minutes. I'm not super fond of that. I think he's going a little over-owned on FD. I'd probably rather have Steven Adams, 6,300 on FanDuel, 5,400 on DK, and he should be able to really do whatever he wants. It's not like Amari Spellman or Marquise Chris are the guys that are going to slow him down.
All right, we just got 30 seconds ago. Main slate ownership update. I'm putting my stuff in, starting to do my crunches. But I will be talking if you throw questions my way. But for this one, yes, I would go with Adams over Gallinari. I wanted Gallinari to be my sort of bust of the day, but I know that's what Adam had put, and I was filling it in later, so I didn't quite want to put him there. But he's someone I'm not really interested in playing. He's someone I liked a lot with his situation last year at with the Clippers, and I liked him a lot. Was a guy overdrafting him probably when he was with Denver. I think his skill set's great. This just doesn't seem to be the right situation. Is it bad luck? Probably. The rebounds aren't quite there. Yeah, but he and Adams are going to kind of figure that out, and et cetera. The scoring's been okay, but it's been more empty box scores than what I would like to see. Something I would not have expected to say with Gallinari there.
Wow, I have some incredibly interesting exposures right now on FanDuel. It's the place that I'm playing the most tonight, and it's lit, as the kids may say from time to time. Let's just finish up on this game, and then we can start taking questions for the last bit. I'm going to have Russell. I'm going to have Shea. I don't get the sense that I'm going to have much else here. I don't know how to pick out these Golden State guys, so I just try to avoid them.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell makes me nervous. Yeah, he scored a career high in points last night, but he also played 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That makes me a little bit nervous. There's no reason to run him into the ground. Literally none.
See, I disagree.
Showcasing him for a trade doesn't matter.
I'd run him into the ground because what do they care? He's like a 24-year-old dude that I don't think is going to be a part of the Warriors' future. If he wants to showcase himself, I'd be like, yeah, man, have at it.
If I'm them, I want to trade him.
Oh, yeah, so do I.
That's why I don't need more than 30 minutes tonight from him. 28 would be fine.
Run him straight into the ground. 34, I believe.
Okay. So knock 20% off whatever he has. That's the downside risk. Doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
For those watching. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's just the downside risk.
I am adding my lineups to my FanDuel upload sheet right now. I can hit everybody with my exposures after this final paste. It's a lot. I'm being pretty aggressive here tonight. Very, very concentrated, even more so than normal. Once I click this upload button here, I will have my stuff in across FanDuel, FantasyDraft, and Yahoo. Just want to make sure I don't get left hanging. Perfect. So FanDuel exposures: Luka Doncic 70, Tyus Jones 80. Shooting guard on FanDuel a little bit more flat. 34% to Harden, 46% to Russell, and 51% to Slow-Mo at 3,900. Small forwards got, I'm a little bit underweight on Brandon Ingram, 54% on Miles Bridges, 31% to Jay Crowder, 34% to Glenn Robinson. That makes me really nauseous. I need to change that. Sometimes I forget that Glenn Robinson is Glenn Robinson and not Glenn Robinson, his dad.
Big Dog?
Yeah.
You mean Big Dog?
Okay, that now I got him down to 20. That's better. 50% Lauri Markkanen, 49% Jaren Jackson, 56% Maxi Kleber, 38% Dwight Powell, and 30% to Joe Val. Essentially don't have Clint Capella. So if anybody's a big Clint Capella stan, that is not a hill that I'm dying on today.
Yep.
Feel free to get your questions in now, Premium Slack. Or YouTube, if you want to. Super chat and all that good stuff, if you're interested. I am now changing my FanDuel exposures because I find that's just a little bit too much Glenn Robinson. I don't even think he likes himself that much. Could be wrong. Let's see. Anderson Doncic favors. I don't know what. Oh, that's not a question. Never mind. I'm just reading out things in Slack. 26 lineups, which means I need 9 more. Bingo. 6:55, guys. 5 minutes until lock.
Is it bad that I haven't done my percentages yet for fantasy?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say yes.
All right. Well, my tiers literally are loaded for DraftKings. I like to play the tiers games.
Sure.
Fortunately, I've already taken care of all my NHL lineups. Again, 5x last night on NHL. Josh.
Shout out to Jake.
Jake does his stuff. Jake knows.
Jake the snack is killing it.
Yes. It's snack time.
He needs to make that a t-shirt. You need to make that a t-shirt.
My wife makes t-shirts, so we've thought about it, and I have the perfect one. Well, you know those little those black and hold on, I got to get to where I can see. You know those black t-shirts that have like the little bedazzling silver things on it?
Yes.
I would like to get assuming your wife is a medium, I'd like to send her a smedium and it just have it say it's snack time.
She'll wear it for sure. I mean, that would work.
There we go. And you know what? Jake will turn 17 shades of red, which just makes it that much better.
She'd wear it for sure. Like 1,000%, considering she's the reason that this is happening. The least she can do is wear that t-shirt. And she's oddly cut from the same mold as me.
I'm sensing she has a very good sense of humor, which is why I bring it up, and I know you do as well. Because not everybody would like people to say that about their significant others.
She would love it. She would think it would be hilarious. She would absolutely double.
And Jake will be mortified, which is just the payoff.
Right. No, yeah, she does have a fantastic sense of humor. She would get that for sure. Oh wow, we got a ton of questions. Josh Ingram, I'm going to bink the 5 again. Yeah, I hope so. Kleber or Favors on FanDuel? I would probably go Maxey. I just feel a little bit more comfortable with the minutes there. Although,
absolutely.
That is not an indictment on Derek Favors. It's just a really tricky spot. Favors or Kenrich value play? That's probably Favors.
Kenrich. We've beat this one into the ground. It's close. It's your risk tolerance. Favors has the bigger upside. Kenrich is more likely to get to 25 points. Fantasy points. Favors is more likely to get to 40. That's probably an 8% chance tonight.
Thoughts on D'Angelo Russell versus Ingram on FanDuel? I have
Ingram all day, every day.
I have more D'Angelo Russell. Okay. So we're giving you no help whatsoever.
No, and mine is just oh shit. Sorry, I gotta do.
You're good. You got it. Best center for a GPP. Chris Myers. Oh, you said DK. That means it's a little bit easier for me to go take a peeksy. Best center on DK, in my opinion, if you're in a GPP, is probably Jaren Jackson. Honestly, 28% owned though. Maybe Dwight Powell at close to half the ownership. I think you can go either direction there. Yeah, I would go. Josh, is your wife out of town tonight? No, we went out for the day. Actually, I was doing some shopping. Got some new sports gear. Here's one for you. I know you're just like passively listening. So my college roommate is a designer at Reebok, and we were in the Reebok outlet. I spotted a T-shirt with a design on the front of it. Took the picture, sent it to him. I was like, "Is this you?" He was like, "Yeah, it is me." I was able to spot his art just by walking past it in a store, which I think is pretty interesting. And so shout out to Dan.
Amazing. Well, I'm apparently not playing a main lineup because I need to have differentiated lineups tonight. So there you go.
Yikes. But 6:59 and 15 seconds.
There we go, baby. I'll take it. I don't
tick.
Yeah. Hey, this is what happens. I'm good with it. These things happen. You know, sometimes it works out in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. It's the danger of doing shows up until lock. By the way, shout out to you who does this. Well, this week 5 nights a week plus NHL or NFL. Yeah, and I don't think people understand that there's a lot of stuff we're looking at behind the scenes here that are checking. We're working on. Injuries. We're looking to see who's messaging us. We usually have a couple chuckleheads that show up in YouTube Slack or YouTube chat that we've got to deal with. You've got then we're trying to find breaking news, and by the way, verifying it, because not always verified, even though we have our trusted sources, and usually a lot of times when we're getting it from our Slack chat, we know that they've verified it. But you know, at least every other day something comes out that gets somebody caught up in something, not intentionally, but these are all the things we're trying to protect you guys from. Yeah. So, you know, it does happen. It's why I don't play as gigantic volume as I did once upon a time.
Same.
But you know, I still get in there. I still get it done. And for me, it's all about being profitable. And so Super Draft, we talked about them. If you can find overlay anywhere, that is the best thing you're going to get. It's not us giving you information. It's the pure overlay. You're not going to get that more often than not on DraftKings and FanDuel.
No.
You're going to get incredibly top heavy prize pools that can, give you life-changing money, or you're going to have to redeposit all the time. That's the trade-off with them. If you look at Yahoo, you've got, even with their CSV upload, the big dogs aren't over there most of the time. Yeah. They run their slates on Yahoo with every lock time, and they go to the end of the slate. So you get some really unique basketball slates that DraftKings and FanDuel don't do, because they'll say, we're running all the 8 o'clock games. We're running the 2 7:30 games. We're running everything from 10 o'clock or later, and it's 2 games, and we're ignoring the 3 games that start at 9. They do weird stuff all the time. That's another place to find some stuff. And then you got FantasyDraft that is rake free, which you're insane if you're not playing over there.
Really, you are.
From that standpoint. So these are the little wiggle room places you're looking at. So you're going to find me in all the low dollar stuff on DraftKings, because I like playing for the crowns. I like hitting the black level for their rewards. Basically, you get somewhere between $500 and $550 in DK cash when you hit that for the month. I'm trying to get all my little milestones to get there. They make it tougher and tougher every sports cycle, but I'm averaging, since they changed it to that cash program, or the DK cash program, I'm getting an extra $1,500 a year from them, because I'm hitting it 3.5 times a year.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm
massive.
selectively doing what I'm doing. And that's just the way it goes. FanDuel doesn't do it for me. That's fine. You know what FanDuel does the best? Because I'm going to give them a shout out. Pump out those 100-man contests that are three max, and they have a realistic payout structure.
Yep. I love those contests.
I wish DraftKings did that. They don't. I've messaged them about 1 million times. DraftKings runs 4 of those below at $1 or below every slate. That's it. FanDuel runs 100 or more.
Yeah, a nonstop stream of them. They're fantastic contests for people.
And if you're playing 150, enter 50 of those and play your 150 lineups. You don't have to have them all in the same contest. You want them all in a similar payout structure.
Yeah.
And you want them all in a similar buy-in. But if it's different contests, it doesn't matter.
Get in throughout the day.
The same payout structures.
Bing, 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 bing. Get everyone that's in there for $1, the $2 or whatever. Then, wait 10 minutes. A couple more open up. Bing, 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 bing. Get them again.
Yeah.
So well, alrighty.
There's your little secret wiggle room. Find the way to survive. Hey, I've had one losing year, and this is going to be my best one in 4 years. But I've changed the way I played again. So this is it. I'm gonna, if I don't screw it up, I'm gonna approach 10K this year in profit. That's not bad considering I'm playing $200, $250 a day.
You can't beat
now that adds up, because this will be one of my lower years, and I'm going to end up playing just shy of $100,000 in entry fees. But that's a lot of freaking money. And I try to explain to my wife, Josh, it's the same couple thousand over and over and over. But she's like, "Oh my God, you played 100. Oh my God, we don't have that kind of, oh my God." It's like, no. Do you ever notice me taking money out of our bank accounts? No, you don't. Exactly. Do you ever see my deposits on the credit card? No, you don't, because I nickel and dime my way to 3 or 4 withdrawals a year and 1 or 2 deposits transferring between the different sites where I'm winning or losing. So I haven't made an actual DFS deposit that wasn't from my quote bankroll that sits in PayPal. Although now that I learned PayPal is not insured, FDIC insured, it sits in the other savings account my wife doesn't know about, but it's only my DK or my DFS money. So not like she's going to get mad, because it's just the same thing. But with electronic transfers, be smart. And there you go. So just throwing it out there. There are ways to do this.
Guys, thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, going to be largely NFL. We will have the deeper dive NFL show kicking off at like 9:45, 10 o'clock, somewhere in that neighborhood. Laffy, Ben Rasa, Boss Man Alex Baker. We'll have Nolan and alternate Eric on the inactives report. That's the basically commercial break show. That's in between that show and live before lock with myself and Chris Spags. And then you guys really do get Fast Eddie tomorrow back with EMAC breaking down the NBA slate. No strategy show for me in the morning. We're not going to be doing them Sunday mornings, honestly, because nobody watched that shit the first week.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay, Josh. Yeah. You do 200 shows, but you'll get me twice tomorrow. Yeah. You get the NFL live before lock, as well as the NBA live before lock, and we don't know when the main slate's going to be. They could go at 6 o'clock with 7 games, or they could go at 7 o'clock with 5 games. We'll have to see what the sites are going to post here in the next half hour.
Yep.
Just know that you're going to get Fast Eddie for an hour. I suspect if they go at 6 o'clock, we may go at 4:45 just to give enough time, since that is going to be the only show for NBA tomorrow.
There we go. So, best of luck tonight. Go all of the guys that I have a ton of exposure to. Go Tyus Jones. Go Luka Doncic. Go slow-mo. And I'm going to go deal with the fact that I have that much slow-mo. So I will talk to you guys later. For EMAC, I'm Josh. We're out of here.